I'm Buck McKinney. I live here in Austin, Texas. My introduction to music really came from my dad. He was a player himself. He played on a radio show when he was in college up in Boston, and then when he'd come back for summers, would hang out on the Louisiana Hayride and get picked up as a guitar player there. He had a Gibson J200 that he forbid me from playing when I was a kid, and it was a trick of his. He'd go out for dinner or whatever it was, and he'd say, whatever you do, don't touch this guitar right here. Don't look at it. I don't want to come back and find out you've been playing on it. And I came to find years later that he had it rigged, and he'd know, of course, when I was playing on it, and that was all part of his devious little plan. I admired him for being a player himself, and it was just something that once I got into it, I got bitten by the bug and never stopped. I've started a band here in Austin around 2000 called Nappy. We put out 3 records, did quite a bit of touring, sort of an alternative jazz project, and then a couple of years later that morphed into a band called Flyjack. And we've just released a record on Ham and Beat Records with Jabba Starks, James Brown's drummer, playing on that, and a really talented keyboardist from Milan, Italy, Apollo Negre, and that's sort of what I've been working on lately. That's sort of the big soul band with full horn section, keys, and kind of a funky thing there. I started off playing, sort of country stuff that my dad taught me, and then of course as a youngster I had a number of rock bands, and from there sort of developed into jazz and funk, but I've sort of combined elements of all. I've got kind of a weird way of playing with it's sort of Joe Maphis style. I use a pick and then I'll pull with my fingers. I do a lot of that, and which is sort of a country style, but I use it when I play jazz or whatever. I'd like a really direct sound with a lot of warmth, and the one thing that I've noticed about the Astrope cable is just the sense of body, this heft to the sound. I've heard people talk about the high transients and the clarity on the upper end, and I certainly hear all of that, but what it does for me and what I really like is this sense of body and this warmness. It's doing what you want to hear. You're not really losing things. You can sort of feel that sound going from your fingers straight through the strings and out into the speakers, and it's not losing that low end and that sense of warmth that you might hear if you played the guitar just acoustically without it being plugged in at all. It's all sort of there, and for me that's a real benefit.